jury in the former President Trump's hush money trial, heading into a second day now of deliberations for a look at how the verdict could impact the 2024 presidential election. And perhaps the markets want to bring in Jonathan Martin, Politico's politics bureau chief and senior political columnist. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Andrew.
To the extent that you can handicap anything at this point in the ball game, based on some of the notes that came back from the jury and everything else, do you have any sense of where you think this ends? And perhaps more importantly, however it ends, how you think it will impact the election?
I think there's two scenarios here. I think they either return a guilty verdict or it's a hung jury. The nature of those questions suggests that they were trying to get more clarity on sort of the core case, Andrew, that the prosecution had laid out, especially with regard to David Pecker's testimony, the former National Enquirer chairman. Look, in terms of the campaign impact, I think a lot of this is baked in. The great challenge for Joe Biden is that many Americans are desensitized about Donald Trump and who he is and his personal conduct. It's not a huge revelation. That's the challenge. I do think if you're the Biden campaign, getting a guilty verdict here in this case is helpful because they can then call Donald Trump a felon, which they will, obviously, in every ad from now on. So I think it's helpful in that sense. I think of the cases, though, this is probably the least serious of all the charges that Trump is facing. But it's also the one that appears like that we're going to have a trial before the election. So the Biden folks are going to take what they have.
But is that so? But when you start thinking about the swing states in America, where things are close,
right?
Does the idea of describing the former president as a felon, does that swing? What percent do we think that swings? What percent of Americans say, I can't vote for a felon?
Well, that's precisely the issue, is that there is some number of Americans, mostly what I would call kind of Bush Republicans or former Republicans, now independents, who don't love the idea of voting for Joe Biden again, but can't stomach voting for Donald Trump, and especially if he has that convicted felon tag. I don't think it's a ton of voters, but they're crucial voters because they're some of the few voters, Andrew, that haven't decided yet.
Is there any possibility that a felony conviction somehow helps him?
I think it will rally sympathy among folks that are already for him, especially in this case. I don't know if it gets him any new voters, though.
And then walk us through the hung jury scenario. And we have,
you know what he's going to do there.
You don't believe that there's any chance that he walks out of this scot-free?
No, I don't think he'll be acquitted with that jury in this moment in that city. But I think he will portray a hung jury as tantamount to victory. And he will say, even in the deepest blue of American cities, that a jury of my peers still did not find me guilty. He will spin a hung jury as a de facto acquittal because that's just how Donald Trump operates. And he will say this was a sham case from day one, and they couldn't even return a guilty verdict in New York City. So I think he'll portray that as a win. I think the bigger issue is that it's unlikely that the more serious cases on documents and on January 6th are unlikely to come to trial before the election. So this is probably the only trial that we're going to see, Andrew, before Election Day.
It's hard for most people to really understand. I'm not sure I do. I think I do that. I mean, obviously, you're allowed to, I mean, we saw Paula Jones. I mean, people have been paid off since the beginning of time. It's really about not classifying it as a political expense rather than a legal expense. And everybody knows that, and everybody knows that the upgrade to a felony is nebulous at best. So you're following this. I'm not, you say in this city with that jury. I mean, I think that this case would have been brought years and years and years and years ago if it was a legitimate case.
I think that's a fair argument to make, Joe. There's no question about it, which is why I think that this is by far the least serious of the cases
so
that
when
Trump
you say
is
felon,
facing.
I don't know if it's like we need a new word for it because it's not.
Oh, look, but this is
what's the crime, Andrew? What's the crime? Tell me the crime.
Here's the thing.
You describe the crime to me. But just tell me the felony.
But here's the thing. I actually think most of America is not actually following this trial.
So you don't care that there's not a crime.
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying most of America does not follow this case. It's so convoluted.
Right. But
it's so hard to understand where things are.
Do you think it's a trumped-up case or not from Alvin Bragg? Do you acknowledge it's a trumped-up case?
I don't think it's a trumped-up case.
Why wasn't it brought years ago when it could have been?
Look, I think that I don't know why they didn't bring the case the first time.
I will get Trumpism with Letitia James. I mean, this is, you can call a duck when it's quacking and walking and everything else. And it's fine. If you want to try, this is, the New York law is being honored the way this is being done. And he had to be there every day. He has to do it. There's no way around this. It's being done by the Justice Department or whomever. But that's the way it's going to be perceived. I
think both of you guys can be right here. I think Joe's case is pretty compelling in terms of the law. I think Andrew's making the case on the politics, which is regardless of the underlying facts of the case, if the Biden campaign gets the word felony, they're going to use that in their campaign ads because politics is politics, you know?
Supposedly he's going to talk. He's already at the Correspondents' Dinner, he said stormy weather. Then he said, I'll debate this guy, but I hear he's free on Wednesday. He's already taunting and sort of, I don't know if he'll do it.
There was a Biden campaign rally down at the
He probably won't do it in the if Hunter has some issues. But in this case, he may come out and crow about a conviction. And do you think that's a smart thing? I've heard people say he should pardon Trump immediately to have a fair fight, to say, I'm going to have a fair election. I'm not going to let this... I want the people to have their choice. I'm going to not let this
Becky makes an important point that if there was any mystery that the Biden folks were going to weaponize this politically, that went out the window when they sent Robert De Niro to the courthouse the other morning. They're clearly going to jump on this if a felony.
Right. But does it work?
Does it help Trump with some of his base? At least if he actually serves any time in prison, is he seen as a martyr for this?
Well, I think the folks, Becky, that would see him as a martyr and who feel rallied by the fact that he was found guilty by a liberal jury in New York are already for Donald Trump. Like if that's your mentality, you're already voting for Donald Trump, right? And I think the folks on the fence right now, maybe they're moved if he's found guilty. I think for the most part, though, it's a marginal issue for the great swath of the American voter, because as Andrew pointed out, they haven't been following this. They're just not following it.